Hey guys, here with another Flashback draft as a bonus draft this week. Last week I did the Flashback Mirrodin draft, and this one is the Flashback Mirrodin-Darksteel draft, meaning it's 2 packs of Mirrodin, 1 pack of Darksteel. Changes the format a little bit, but not a huge amount, but it does mean there's other good equipment floating around, more creatures who like equipment. I think equipment's, it's very strong in Mirrodin, triple Mirrodin anyway, but I think in Mirrodin-Darksteel it's probably a little bit better. Because there's more creatures who like it rather than just like the few common and uncommon cats who like it in Mirrodin. There's now the Auriok creatures from Darksteel who like it as well. But other than that, it's not a hugely different format, although there are some more ridiculous bombs, the Sword of Fire and Ice and Sword of Light and Shadow, for example. But so we'll see what we open and so forth. So I'll see you guys when the first round begins. Well, when the pack opens, rather. Alright guys, here is the first pack of Mirrodin. It's an interesting one. We have Vidalcan Archmage, who can get pretty ridiculous and get you some crazy hard card advantage if you play enough artifacts. And there's also Spike Shot Goblin, who's basically the best common in the set. So those are what I'm looking at. Atog's also pretty good. Those are the only cards I would consider at all, I guess, taking first pick here. So let's think here. How good is Vidalcan Archmage exactly? I mean, we're going to end up with artifacts regardless, and I think turning all of them into cantrips is a pretty powerful effect. But Spike Shot Goblin's also really good. It's a hard decision. Let me know what you would have done, but I think I'm going to go with the Archmage, probably because I've never played with it in Limited. It's kind of the tiebreaker for me there. Okay, Shrapnel Blast, pretty strong. Seed of the Synod. Ornithopter, don't really want that. I think we probably take Shrapnel Blast here. I mean, we don't have artifacts yet, but we're probably going to get them. Deconstruct is also pretty good. But I think Shrapnel Blast is even better because it can kill anything. You do have to sacrifice an artifact, of course. But I think we want the Shrapnel Blast. So maybe we go blue-red. Lumengrin Sentinel. That gives us another, whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under our control trigger. Okay, we got some Myr here, and I think we got to take one of them. There's also a Terror, though. Jeez. Good removal. Just keeps flowing. Shrapnel Blast, Terror. We also saw Deconstruct in the last pack. So, Terror. I mean, it can't kill artifacts, which is relevant, but everyone ends up playing non-artifacts. So, are Myr better, or is Terror better? That's hard to gauge, in a format I don't play all the time. But I do love me some removal. I think I'm going to take Terror over the Myr. I mean, it's kind of silly. We have 2 cards that care about artifacts. We have 0 so far, but I think I got to take the Terror there. Okay, well, we got payoff anyway. Which one do we want? Which one's more likely that we splash? You don't even have to splash for them to be good, by the way, but I don't know, maybe green. Green's looked more open, I think, early, so I'll take the Copper Myr. Jinx Choker, not really what one wants. Okay, well, Telgelot Archers is pretty good. Yoshin Soldier's fine. I think we'd rather have the Archers, though, out of this pack over everything else. Could take a Bloodletter, but it's not clear what color we're going to be in yet, as I'm sure you can tell because of what's been going on. I think here we probably want Frogmite. Although Moriok Scavenger, if we end up with other artifacts, is pretty strong. Frogmite or Moriok Scavenger? I think I'm going to go with the Frogmite, given the other cards we have so far. I mean, we need to get artifact cards before the Scavenger to be good. This draft, it's been harder to figure out which cards are stronger or better in the format more than it was in my last triple Mirrodin draft. But Copperhoof Vorak is pretty good, a pretty good green creature, and pretty good reason to go into green, I think. Although green plays less artifacts, so we may end up losing our Archmage altogether. May go like black-green, but that Vorak, I mean, if it's not amazing, I guess, because these days mana burn's not a thing. But making your opponent have to tap down their lands or making them have to do other things a certain way just because you have the Vorak in play seems pretty strong. The Tree of Tales is also tempting, but I think I'm going to go for the Vorak. In the days of mana burn, he was much better because your opponent couldn't just like tap down all their lands and make him into a 2/2. But on like stalled board states, he can just crash through them, obviously. That's where he's really good. Relic Bane is not bad. Neither is Goblin War Wagon. But neither is Vault of Whispers. And we probably are going to want artifacts for some reason, you know. Even if we don't play Vidalcan Archmage and Shrapnel Blast. Yeah, I think I'll take the Vault over the War Wagon there. Alright, I'll take an Elf Replica. Perfectly serviceable. We're up to 3-4 artifacts now, right? But it is looking like blue's not ultra open. We haven't seen any of like the good commons or uncommons around, sadly. So we're either red-green or black-green, probably. And we could probably pull off splashing. There are Darksteel ingots and stuff like that in the third pack, in the Darksteel pack. So that's worth keeping in mind. There's that Ornithopter again. Don't think we want Titanium Golem if we're not playing white. Contaminated Bond isn't a card I love. I think I'm going to take the Ornithopter. If we end up with equipment, it gets far better. Steel Wall. Are we a deck that's going to want to stall, or do we want a Condor who can carry equipment? That's what it's down to. Although Nim Lasher is also not bad. The one with flying is obviously better. I think I'm going to take the Wall for now. Our deck looks a little slower than anything else. Hey, Psychogenic Probe. I think we'll take Krark Clan Shaman. It's not a bad sideboard card. Yeah, sure. I mean, we're not going to play it, but Lead and Elders I think better than the Mender. And you know, if we end up with equipment, Goblin Striker could actually make our deck. Mirror Incubator. How big of a bomb can that be in a format like this? I mean, you need several artifacts for it to be good, otherwise it's not really worth it, and I don't think we can guarantee we're going to have that going on. Rustspore Ram's not bad, neither is Mirror Golem. I had it wreck me pretty hard in last week's draft, if you saw it. My opponent played it both times and gave it protection from creatures, and I was just like, not in good shape. But there's also a Leonin Scimitar here, and I think that's probably what I take over everything else. Equipment is quite good, and it'll make our Ornithopter better. Should we play our Ornithopter? We would need a lot of equipment, I think, to make me play Ornithopter. But the red in here and the green is not especially good, so Scimitar it is. Another Terror, a Coppermere, Nim Shrieker, who is the one who can fly. Dross Prowler is also pretty good, although Fear is less good in this format than usual because of all the artifacts. Viridian Longbow is also pretty good. It's a good pack. It's either Longbow, Terror, or Mirror, I think. The Shrieker's tempting, but I think that's what we're down to here. I think I'm actually going to go for the Longbow. I think making a creature into a pinger is pretty strong effect. Although Terror is also pretty good. But we're not guaranteed to be playing black. We are guaranteed to be playing, artifacts. So I think I'm going to take the Longbow over the other Manamur. Troll Ascetic, hello. Yeah, we're in green. If we had any doubts, now we're definitely in green. Troll Ascetic is a very strong card. Hexproof, Regenerate. I mean, carries equipment well, it can block forever, and basically no removal in the format can touch it. So that's what we're taking. Creeping Mold isn't bad. Ooh, Isochron Scepter. No, put Shrapnel Blast on that. We could have a good time. Silver Myrrh. Volshock Gauntlets. At this point, we don't have a huge amount of removal. I think, especially because we may not be running. Like right now, I think there's a possibility we don't run any of those cards, and we pick a different secondary color altogether. And Creeping Mold is a removal spell that could be useful for us because we just don't have very much in the way of removal. So I think that's what we take. Green's definitely open though. Getting a Troll Ascetic like 4th pick or whatever that was is pretty nuts. And right now I think our black is stronger than our red. I think Terror is better. I mean, basically it's just between Terror and Shrapnel Blast. Those are the two questions we have. Copper Myrrh adds green, which worked out for us because we'd actually ended up in green. So that's good. Ornithopter, right now is kind of iffy for our deck. But, putting a Viridian Longbow on it's not bad, and Leonin Scimitar is not either. But if we get some swords, then we're going to be really happy. The actual swords of Fire and Ice and Light and Shadow, not like Leonin Scimitar. Okay, Blinkmoth Urn's kind of fun, but I don't think what we want. Duskworker is perfectly fine. The more equipment you have, the better he gets, of course, but I don't think I have a problem with him at this point. I don't see any cards here that make me want to go white. Necrogen Spellbomb's okay, I guess, and maybe it should make me lean towards black. Yeah, maybe it does make me lean towards black. The worst it cycles, and at best it can hit it. Yeah, we'll take the Spellbomb over the Duskworker. And there's another Duskworker anyway. We made the right choice. Cobalt Golem's pretty good. Psychic Membrane's not bad. But I think we probably want to choose between black or red in the end here because those are the stronger colors we have going on. But yeah, blue's just not open, so our poor Archmage is just going to chill over there. Chimney Imp is such a bad card. Okay, well there's a Leaden Myrrh here and a Nim Replica. I think I take the Leaden Myrrh over the Replica. There's also Challenge a lot of Exile, which is good, but I like the Myrrh a lot. Helps you pay for equipment and so forth. Okay. Wormskin Forger is not bad. It's better than it looks in a format like this one, so I think I'm going to take it, especially because we've got a bit of ramp going, and he can beef up our creatures. It's not a bad late pickup anyway. We do have enough artifacts for sure for Shrapnel Blast. Early on in this draft, we weren't picking up very many artifacts. Seat of the Synod, there's that Incubator again. There's a Lasher. Rustspore Ram is not a bad sideboard card. I think I'm going to take the Lasher. He looks pretty good for our deck right now. He can get worse, trade for a lot of stuff. And if we can get him, first strike, I don't think there's an equipment until 5th Dawn though that gives first strike, sadly. All right, we'll take a Dross Prowler now. So yeah, black. Black looks like it's what's going to happen for us. It seems to be more open than red. So our first two picks, not going to make our deck probably. Although Volshock Berserker is fine, and I think I'll take him just in the event that black dries up or we pick up some crazy red bomb or something. Yeah, and I'll take another Krark Clan Shaman, I guess. The rest of that pack was god-awful, so... Blood Scent, Whale of the Nim. I'm going to take Whale of the Nim. I feel like it probably has more applications as a sideboard card than Blood Scent does, as a main board card. It's easy to entwine. It would save all my creatures, and if my opponent has a lot of 1 toughness guys, Mana Myrrh, then it's pretty good. All right, Battle Growth it is. Life Spark Spellbomb it is as well. We're in green, so that doesn't hurt. I think it's my least favorite of the Spellbombs, but they're all pretty good. We end up with so many ones. I really wish... Oh, well, definitely in green. I really wish we could shove Vidalcan Archmage into our deck, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Because it's so good when you have all these 1-drops and 2-drop artifacts, which we have. So Fangren Firstborn's really good. Sure Strike Trident's not bad. Wouldn't mind an Arcbound Hybrid or a Tangle Spider coming back. But I think Fingering Firstborn is definitely where we go. It is triple green, that's worth noting, but we're definitely more green than anything else, and green's pretty open, so we're probably going to stay that way. Get that Berserker out of there, unfortunately. But, yeah, we got two really strong green rares in Troll Ascetic and Fingering Firstborn. Pulse of the Forge. That kind of makes me want to go red. It is a good burn spell, a good finisher, but don't think it's quite what we're looking for. Arcbound Slith. Grimclaw Bats. Not a terrible card. But there's also Telgelot Outrider. Protection from artifacts goes a pretty long way in this world. Whisper Silk Cloak's worth looking at too. Yeah, I mean, I think I can probably pick up a Bats later if I want to. I think the Outrider's what we take there. Karstoderm, Furnace Dragon. Man, making that work would be fun. Telgelad Wolf. Machinate's a pretty great card if we were in the Vidalcan Archmage deck that we're not in. Karstoderm, unfortunately, is bad in our deck, even though he's a 4-mana 5/5. You know, a throwback to Blastoderm. But yeah, I think we take Telgelad Wolf here in the Darksteel pack. Although, actually, Emissary of Despair is here, so never mind. I think that's way better. It's got the evasion. Probably not playing Ornithopter. It's got evasion, and it can really put the hurting on your opponent. I mean, every time it hits them, they lose 1 life for each artifact they control. I think I like that over everything else. So, Nim Abomination is not terrible. Spire Golem's still here, so maybe blue is a little open now. Didn't seem like it earlier. But Spire Golem's quite good. I think we probably take Nim Abomination here. It's just a fine card. Reap and Sow isn't really what we want. I mean, it could make us, I guess, it could help us play blue, but we need double blue to really take advantage, and I don't see that happening. I think here we take the Abomination. Yeah, it's just a beater who has a little bit of a downside, you know. He'll hit us for 3 the first turn we play him, probably, but he is a pretty aggressively costed creature for this format. So we've got Terror and Creeping Mold for removal, and that is basically it. But we do have some pretty sturdy, powerful creatures, so I'm okay with that, I think. I don't know if we want Steel Wall. Probably don't want Battle Growth anymore. Does work well with creatures with modular, so if we pick some of them up, but I think we probably would have by now. Aether Snap. It's not bad. I mean, our deck doesn't have tokens right now, and it doesn't have +1/+1 counters, and there's a lot of them floating around, but I think I'd rather just have the Dross Golem here. Nurok Prodigy still being here. I guess blue is suddenly more open than it's been, but I like the Dross Golem more, especially since we're as into black as we are right now. This would be a good sideboard card, though. Don't discount that. Darksteel Gargoyle is also a nice top curve creature, but I think we want our Golem. So yeah, black-green it is. Golgari. So Chittering Rats is not bad. You know, it makes your opponent not draw a card for a turn, and it's a 2/2 who can carry our Scimitar or our Longbow. I'll take Construct's also not bad, but I think I like the Rats a little bit more. So we will take that. Spire Golem's still here. Wow. That's pretty crazy. This pack's pretty dry for us. I'm going to take a Spire Golem away from somebody, I guess. Dross Golem is unfortunately probably one of the worst of them because his fear isn't that great in this format. I wish they'd given him, I don't know, Regenerate would be better. And it's a pretty black ability, but he's still fine. I mean, if you're playing him for 2 or 3 mana and you're playing a 3/2 with some degree of evasion, then you're pretty happy, I think. This Outrider is probably going to be more of a sideboard card. It is probably one of our worst creatures. So I think that's where it goes. Fingering Firstborn. Oh, that does put counters on our creatures, so Aether Snap would not be good with that, actually. Yeah, so black ended up being pretty open late-ish in this draft. Our Emissary of Despair or Terror, obviously. Probably Terror is our best black card, but Emissary of Despair is our second best. Scrounge. Another Dross Golem or Drill Skimmer. How many artifact creatures do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 artifact creatures. Drill Skimmer gets Shroud if you control another artifact creature, which is pretty good. But do we have enough artifact creatures to make it worth it, or do we want another Dross Golem? I feel like the Dross Golem's like a surer thing than Drill Skimmer is. As good as I think Drill Skimmer could be, we don't quite have like it has to be artifact creatures, not just artifacts, so we don't quite have like a critical mass of artifact creatures. I guess if I could find a way in these last few packs to splash Shrapnel Blast, or not Dark Clan Shaman, Shrapnel Blast, then we'd be pretty happy. Because it would give us another good removal spell, and we have tons of artifacts that we wouldn't mind sacrificing. There's Oxida Golem, too. Like an Arcbound hybrid here. Has a nice little synergy with our Fingrin Firstborn. But yeah, we probably aren't going to make the Shrapnel Blast fit in our deck. Yeah, what do you do exactly, Chimeric Egg? Yeah, it's just till end of turn, so I guess we'll take a Grimclaw Bats. And I'll take another hybrid, though I don't love it. I'm probably not going to play two of them. But I might. We'll take this Scarab. Its inability to block is a problem, but a 4-mana 3/3, you know, is something. So we'll take another one. Like, I guess there might be some matchups I'd cite it in, but not many. We'll take Magnetic Flux, since it's better than Echoing Truth. I mean, that was an Echoing Truth. Whatever that card was, it's better than it. Forgot what it was already. Echoing Truth would be pretty good. Okay. So, we didn't end up with a lot of removal, unfortunately. We did, however, end up with some pretty strong creatures. And I like that part. So, yeah, let's take this out of there. We need to cut 3 cards. We can get away with 17 with our 2 Myr. We really only have 1 high drop, too. Also +1/+1 counters, by the way. So I don't know what I was talking about with Aether Snap. So is the Abomination's downside a big enough downside in a deck like this one? I don't think so. I mean, it's better in a deck with Viridian Longbow, too, because we can make it tap down. If you have enough mana, Viridian Longbow can turn into, like, Goblin Sharpshooter, basically, if you remember that card from Onslaught Block. So I think Elf Replica is moving to the sideboard. We don't have the incentives to play artifacts anymore. And I think all of our other 3-drops are better than it is when we don't have an incentive to play artifacts. So it'll come in if we see some crazy enchantments, I guess. Probably don't need 2 Arcbound hybrids, although we do have 2 +1/+1 counter synergies with it. But it needs artifact creatures to put the +1/+1 counters on. So that makes it a little less good. We can only put it on our 2 Dross Golems, Duskworker, Frogmite, another hybrid, our Myr, or our Steel Wall. So I think we probably only want 1. Definitely keeping Creeping Mold because we're so low on removal. Grimclaw Bats. Yeah, you can go. Get out of here, buddy. So 1 more card. Again, we don't have the incentive to play as much to play artifacts anymore, but they're pretty great at cycling, and they can have utility. So I think I want to keep those spell bombs. Definitely keeping the equipment and this. I think I could side out Steel Wall. Our deck doesn't nearly need it as much as some do. It's a good sideboard card, though, so we'll remember that and bring it in should we need it. So we're going to sort by color. In the end, we actually ended up split between black and green and a bunch of colorless. Dross Golem we can kind of put here because it should influence how much black we play because it'll make it better. And then we have one mirror in each color already. So 7, 10. It's because we have a triple green. I think we can probably get away with 9 though. Probably not actually. No, we probably can. I mean, lead and myrrh, or copper myrrh rather, gives us a 10th green source. No, we could probably get away with 7, 9. We have 2 double black cards, and but the emissary is the only one that's like super strong. We did have the Nim Lasher. Wait a second. There's some changing to be done here before we figure this out. Combine groups. The Nim Lasher gets worse the more artifacts we cut, and we cut several, so I think we're losing the Lasher. Right, we have this too, incidentally. So that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. We can probably cut 1 swamp and put back in 1 more forest. We need to add a 40th card. I don't think I want it to be Battle Growth. I guess Grimclaw Bats isn't awful, but it's also not amazing. Scavenging Scarab. I don't think we're there. I think I'd rather play the Hybrid than the Scarab, or the Telgelot Outrider than the Scarab. So our options are basically Steel Wall. Our options that I would consider Steel Wall, Elf Replica, and Arcbound Hybrid, I think, are our 3 best options for a 40th card. So we have +1/+1 synergies. We do have 12 artifacts, actually, so I don't know that's probably enough for Nim Lasher to be fine. So, change my mind. With the Vault of Whispers, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 artifacts. Yeah, that's enough. With just a couple in play, he's a good deal, and with more, he's even better. So yeah, that's our deck, I think. 7 black sources, I think, is enough. It does make Dross Golem a little less good, but Fingering Firstborn's going to be a pretty good card in our deck, and so is Troll Ascetic and probably Copperhoof Vorak as well. So we need the double green more than we need double black, I think. All right, so this will be the deck. We'll see how it does. I'll see you guys in the first round, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.